The Nintendo Wii U has one of the lowest install bases of any Nintendo home console. In today's episode, we're going to walk you through purchasing a Wii U in 2020 and let you know, is it worth it? What are we drinking
Today we're drinking Strawberry Chocolate Cheesecake by Barntown Brewing Company. It's a strawberry chocolate pastry sour.
Sounds delicious. You know the drill. Make sure you hit that subscribe button and ring that bell icon so you never miss an upload. And sit back, relax, pour yourself a beer if you care to, and welcome to the Nintendo Wii U Buying Guide.
Kevin over here. Now I want you to sit back, relax, pour yourself a beer if you care to, and enjoy this episode of Gaming Off the Grid.
All right, here we go. Purchasing a Wii U in 2020. Is it worth it? There are so many great games on the console, many of which have been ported over to the Nintendo Switch.
So sad.
Which make a lot of people, I think, feel like the Wii U has lost its value, but we don't really feel that way.
No, the Wii U is fantastic. It's crazy because the Wii U is only 8 years old. It was only in production for 5 years and then got discontinued.
Yeah.
It only sold about 13.5 million units, which is one of the worst selling Nintendo consoles ever. Which
I think
sucks.
it is for home consoles.
That's crazy because Nintendo usually does really well.
Yep.
I just think a lot of people got confused by the branding of it.
Yep.
It's very confusing, and everything's being ported to the Switch, so people are like, I don't really need one.
Yeah, I think.
But I think you do.
Initial jump was like, well, what is it? Is it just like a souped up version of the Nintendo Wii? They didn't really know that it was a brand new console.
Yeah.
So let's talk about this bad boy and the variants and the games and things we think you need to pick up in 2020 before it's too late. So there are two mainline versions of the console. There's an 8 gig and then like a deluxe 32 gig.
32 gig, and they're both nice. I would recommend the 32 gig because there's more storage, but they're both really pricey since the console is discontinued. We've done a lot of buying guides in the past. This is going to be our most expensive buying guide because the console itself is getting expensive. But now is the time because it's just going to keep going up.
Yeah.
So I would pull the trigger if you ever want one or think you ever will. Now is the time.
Yeah, the 32 gig is a black console. The 8 gigabyte version is a white console. Both are super sexy. I kind of like the white one, but I do like that larger hard drive. So why purchase a Wii U if all the games have been ported over, all the good games, if you will, over to the Nintendo Switch? First off, there's still some stragglers that haven't been ported over.
Yes, there are. I know there's a lot of rumors of all these games that they're slowly coming to the Switch, but there's so many that haven't and I don't think ever will. So let's start with that. Splatoon.
Yeah, the first one.
Yeah,
awesome game.
Which is awesome. I know the second one's on the Switch, but the first one's pretty incredible.
And then one of the best party games, I think, ever is Nintendo Land.
Oh, Nintendo Land is fantastic, and
so
a lot of
fun.
people sleep on that game, too.
Yeah.
Then you got Star Fox Zero, Pikmin 3, which, here's what's weird about that is there's rumors of that coming to the Switch, the deluxe version.
I love that game.
That's how they get you to buy it again, by just calling it the deluxe version.
And you mentioned Star Fox Zero. A lot of people hate on that game. I kind of like it. I think it's a beautiful game. It's fun to play co-op.
It's a fun game. And if you're a fan of survival horror, sadly, it never got a physical release in the US. But Fatal Frame, Maiden of Black Water, is only for the Wii U, and it's really cool.
Yeah, the Fatal Frame games are scary as shit. You can still get a digital download of it while the Wii U store is still open. There's a zombie game on it called Zombie U. I think GameStop was like giving those games away basically not that long ago.
That game's really fun.
I like that game a lot. It does have like a dated feel a little bit. It didn't really, comparatively to some of the other shooters and stuff that were coming out at the time, or first-person shooters, it didn't maybe stack up from a graphical standpoint, but if you like zombie games, it is a must-play. The other cool thing about the Wii U is I feel like there are several games that were on multiple platforms, but the definitive version of those games, in our humble opinion, resides on the Wii U.
Oh yeah, it does. Starting with one of our favorite games of all time, Axiom Verge. Here's what makes the Wii U so awesome is the tablet. A lot of people are kind of confused by it, but with the tablet, you can have your screen and then your full screen. So in Axiom Verge, you can switch between your weapons. In Batman, the Arkham series, you can switch your tool belts right there. It makes the game so much easier to play.
And in Axiom Verge in particular, it's on all these other consoles, but it's like a 8-bit, 16-bit era type Metroidvania game, so the map is really important. And the other versions, you have to pause it to look at the map. On the Wii U, you just look down and your map is right
It's right there. It makes the game so much easier. Then there's Deus Ex, which is really awesome. I think it's the director's cut on the Wii U. That plays amazing on the Wii U.
Again, that simultaneous screen helps you a ton in that version of the game. It makes it, by far, in my opinion, the best version of that game.
And then if you like beat 'em ups and you're a fan of Zelda, Hyrule Warriors, I know that's available, on the Switch, I think.
It is,
but you can do 2-player separate screens. So one person's on the big screen, one person's on the tablet. That's awesome.
It is way cool.
That's so
we actually did a live stream of it, and it's so neat to each have your own screen respectively, which on the Switch, obviously that changes. It's a great game, and I think the best version, even though it got like a deluxe version on the Switch is
deluxe.
still on the Wii U. It's also worth noting that I think the Wii U has a better online store than the Nintendo Switch.
And I think it has a better online store than the Wii. I know the Wii closed, but the online store is incredible. There was a really cool game called Dr. Luigi. It's an eShop only, and if you're a fan of Dr. Mario, check it out. It's really cool.
Yeah, there's a lot of good classics on there that you can just download the full games. Ours is freaking loaded with, I mean, we've got Demon's Crest and the Final Fight games, all that type of stuff.
We got the Angry Video Game Nerd game on the Wii U, which is hilarious, hard as balls.
It is hard, but it's a really fun game. So I think the online shop, while it's still open, it'll be closing down sooner than later, I'm sure of it, but it's right now, in my opinion, still better than the Nintendo Switch online store. So I think there's another win for the Wii U, at least temporarily.
And if you want to get into the Wii U, the library of games isn't that big. I know a lot of them are being ported, but if you're going for complete collections or you're into that kind of stuff, the library is not that big.
Yeah. So we just did a buying guide on the Nintendo Wii, but if you don't have a Nintendo Wii and you opt to get a Wii U, it is backwards compatible with the Nintendo
which is
Wii.
Awesome. It has a sensor bar and everything.
For the Wiimotes and all that good stuff. And then if you don't have a CRT like us old dinosaurs over here, and you've just got a modern, HD TV, it makes playing your Nintendo Wii games a little easier because you can just go right through the HDMI.
Yeah, it's HDMI. It is such a slick console, and we believe that this console is going to go down as the next Sega Saturn.
Yeah.
Which is crazy. The Sega Saturn only sold, I think it was like less than 10 million units.
Yeah.
So that was like one of the worst selling home consoles, and the Wii U is just behind it. I think if you wait and sleep on the Wii U, it's going to be harder and harder and harder and more expensive and more expensive and more expensive. Man, and it's such a fantastic console. I love it so much.
It is. We probably play it more than our Nintendo Switch.
Yeah.
And Nintendo collectors, if you don't get in on this, I think you're going to be kicking yourself a few years down the road. Where I think this is going to be tougher to collect than, say, the Sega Saturn, which I think is a great comparison, is the screen.
Yes, the tablet's going to be...
How well are these going to hold up over time? Now, these things can take an ass whooping.
Yeah.
But think about this. 10 years from now, given that only 13.5 million or whatever these sold, how many screens are either A, going to have failed, going to have scratches all over them, going to be beat to shit.
They're not going to be in good shape. It's going to be sorry to find a screen, and that's what makes the Wii U so good. I mean, you can still use the console, but without the screen, it's like, oh, that kind of sucks.
Yeah, the tablet is a very cool... I thought it was very innovative. I think the games on the console, there's still enough games there for hardcore gamers. Now, there are plenty of games, don't get us wrong, that don't maximize or optimize the use of the dual screens, but the ones that do,
they get it right.
They do, and it makes them the definitive versions.
Hands down.
It's so hard to play Axiom Verge on the PS4 after we've played it this way on the Wii U. So it makes it for us a must own for multiple reasons, and we've laid that out here in this episode. What do you think about this beer?
Oh my gosh. So we've had a lot of Barntown beers. They've never disappointed us. This is Strawberry Chocolate Cheesecake. It's a pastry sour. So it's a pastry kettle sour brewed with strawberries, cocoa nibs, vanilla, cheesecake, and milk sugar. Holy crap. It's exactly what it says it is. I don't know how they do it. They're magicians or something. This is incredible.
The way that this brewery is able to bring to the glass exactly what it says on the can is second to none. I would say I don't like it as much as the cherry cheesecake one, just because chocolate cheesecakes aren't my favorite type of cheesecake. However, they nailed it with the flavor profile here.
It's incredible. You get that smoothness of the cheesecake, the chocolate flavor, the strawberry. Oh my! It's like a milkshake. It's so creamy, dude. This is so good, and this would be a beer that everyone would love.
I agree with you.
This is a beer for the masses.
This is
so good.
Definitely not one like if you're sitting there watching this saying like, I don't really like sour beers. This is a little different. This is just a really sweet, almost like a dessert beer. Very enjoyable. I would find it very hard to believe that anybody watching wouldn't enjoy this brew.
It's so freaking.
I guess
delicious.
If you don't like cheesecake, but this is freaking delicious.
So good.
And you know what else is delicious? The Wii U.
Oh, it's sexy.
We forgot to mention Need for Speed Most Wanted U.
Oh, that's the definitive version of that game.
Yep.
So good.
Yoshi's Woolly World is still exclusive.
How did we forget about that? That game is beautiful. It's great for families. It's just such a fun game.
It is. It is. Low barrier of entry, too. I think it's an easy enough game that, the kiddos can play it as well. Guys, if you can't tell, we love the Wii U. We feel like purchasing one in 2020. It is the time to do it. The market is just going to keep going up. And a lot of the games that have been ported over to the Switch, they're charging full retail price, the $49.99 or whatever it is, and you can get them cheaper than that on the Wii U. We haven't even played Breath of the Wild on the Switch. We only own it on the Wii U, and it plays amazing. It looks gorgeous, and you can get it way cheaper.
And why are we going to buy it again? We already have it. Yeah.
I just think it's interesting that the Nintendo Switch my humble opinion, I think you kind of feel the same way, hasn't really differentiated itself enough on its own right. It keeps re-releasing these games. I don't blame Nintendo. If with all those good titles, you want to get them in as many households as you can, and the Wii U did a poor job of that with its low install base.
But the Switch is just riding its coattails and taking all the credit for it, because a lot of people think, oh, these are fantastic Nintendo Switch games, and they don't know their ports, you know? The Wii U, that's where they started at, and we freaking love the Wii U. We could talk about it for hours.
If you know, you know. I guarantee you there's going to be people in the comment section that think we're insane, but the ones that have a Wii U are going to be like, thank you for finally saying this. It's so exciting. But guys, get out there, purchase a Wii U if you can. The console price is going up, but a lot of the games are still fairly affordable. Usually we try bringing you these type of episodes and tell you how to get into something on the cheap. From the price of the console, we can't really do that, but some of the games can still be had for a very reasonable price. And the console's
just going to keep going up, so it's as cheap as it's going to be right now.
Anyways, guys, we always appreciate you tuning in and subscribing to the channel. Go grab yourself a Nintendo Wii U and enjoy all the epic games. We'll see you next time right here on Gaming Off the Grid. I would find it very hard to believe that anybody watching wouldn't enjoy this brew.
It's so freaking
I guess if you don't
delicious.
like cheesecake, then that could be a reason.
Well,
but
then you shouldn't be watching the channel. No, I'm just kidding.
But the Wii U, but it's expensive.
Yes, do it now, because it's still going to be worth it from your...
We gotta let's just redo everything after this beer review.
Yeah.
It's turned into a mess. And sit back, relax, pour yourself a beer if you care to, and let's talk. Fuck.
Oh, you couldn't get to home.
Nope. All right, here we go. Is it worth purchasing a Nintendo Wii U in 2000?
In 2000. 2020. Oh my god. Oh.
All right, here we go. Is it worth purchasing a Wii U in 2020? In today's episode, we're gonna
Unbox